This program is rated PG. It contains themes and scenes which may not be suitable for very young audiences. Parental guidance is advised.
Digimon is one of the longest running franchises in the world. It has a lot of anime series, games, manga, and toys dedicated to it. Their stories focus on the digital world and the digital monsters that inhabit it. Today, I'll be enumerating the characters that I gravitated towards every Digimon anime series. Greetings everyone, this is Under the Sun and I'm your host Riku. And happy Odaiba Memorial Day! August 1 is Odaiba Memorial Day. It's a day when Digimon fans around the world celebrate the Digimon franchise's existence. It actually doesn't have any significance to Odaiba, Japan, but it's a special holiday celebrated within the Digimon Adventure series to commemorate the start of the Digimon attack on that day. If you think it's corny, people celebrate May 4 as Star Wars Day. May the 4th be with you is a play on the famous quote within the Star Wars franchise, May the Force be with you. So let us have this one. Let's get in order, shall we? First, let's start with the first Digimon anime, Adventure. The characters I gravitated towards were Takeru and Taichi. Takeru because of the clear depth we've been shown early on in the series. The way he handled his grief over losing Patamon was incredible. He's not some clingy younger brother that Yamato has to protect. He is his own person. Taichi because of his charisma. He has a lot of charisma to spare. He showed that he can learn from the consequences of his bullheadedness and strive to be better. This is exemplified after forcing Greymon to evolve but got Skull Greymon instead of Metal Greymon. Up next is the sequel series, Adventure 02. One would think that I would continue to gravitate towards Takeru, as this was in fact the sequel series to the original Adventure anime. Normally that would be the case, but I find myself gravitating towards Daisuke and Ken. For me, I saw Daisuke as that kid who's so optimistic that it's contagious. It does help that his antics are endearing to me rather than annoying. Ken was that flawed kid who's trying to become part of the team despite how he was initially treated by the rest of the team, most especially Iori. His actions are inexcusable, don't get me wrong, but he more than redeemed himself and will continue to redeem himself in front of the Digimon themselves and the Chosen Children or the Digidestined. Next on the list is Digimon Tamers. I only have one character in Digimon Tamers who I gravitated towards, and that's Ryo Akiyama. I don't know, all the mysteries that surround him was what drew me to him. It helps that he is the one connection we have with the original Adventure universe, being Ken's companion when he first met Wormmon. Then we have Digimon Frontier, the closest Digimon has ever gotten to the tokusatsu-esque media. In this series, I gravitated towards three characters, Tomoki, Izumi, and Koichi. I gravitated towards Tomoki not exactly the same way as I did with Takeru. The only thing these kids had in common with each other was by being the youngest in the group the first time they ventured into the digital world. In Tomoki's case, I gravitated towards his strength of character and the way he stepped up every time he was the only one left to defend the team. That and he's a better person than I am. He actually saved one of his bullies. In Digimon, most female characters fall into two categories, the holier-than-thou and the whiner. While I cannot blame these 10-year-olds to whine, it does get annoying sometimes. Adventure Sora falls into the first category, while Mimi falls into the second one. Adventure 02 Miyako has a bit of both, which may have appealed me to her, but her tendency to insult Daisuke was a deal breaker, especially since, as I'm watching them at a surface level. I won't be able to process whether the supposed insults were actual insults or simply something to help the other party. That, and I'm pretty biased since Daisuke is my favorite character. Digimon Tamer says Rika, who definitely falls into the first category. Izumi has a bit of both actually, and she does insult Junpei sometimes, but her negative traits were cancelled out by her development throughout the story. She does learn to better integrate herself into the group and learn how to have fun at the same time as make the team focus on their task. Then Koichi. His storyline with his twin brother was actually compelling, and unlike Ken, all of his actions weren't done consciously or even subconsciously. The evil Digimon had complete control over his actions and thoughts. Even after all that, he still tries to atone to the deeds his body did instead of just denying everything. It was really sad when that happened to him. It felt like my heart was divided into two. As for Digimon Savers, I'm gonna be honest, but I literally cannot remember a thing about Digimon Savers. I know I was able to watch it. I just can't remember for the life of me if I was able to watch it in its entirety or not. The one thing I remember is that I loved how unique Ikoto, or as I knew him, Kinan, was. Unable to speak full sentences due to growing up like Tarzan. For Cross Wars, the closest thing to Pokemon Digimon has ever gotten, I definitely like Taiki and Zenjiro. They were a fun duo. Taiki because I like his selflessness. He's the ideal hero who dropped anything and everything just to help anyone in need, even to the point of fully exhausting his body. It's a bit disappointing how we did not delve to see how unhealthy his obsession to help everyone was. He was even willing to risk his own life just to get everyone, even the enemy general, out of the prison hell world. Zenjiro was just a fun character to be around. He may have been spirited away with Taiki and Akari because of his rivalry with him, but he still stepped up to the plate to help everyone just like how Taiki helps others. He also helps Akari in planting Taiki's feet on the ground. Then Digimon Adventure Tri. My opinion, Tri was a mediocre part of the franchise, and that's me being generous. The reason Tri is included in this list when we already have the original Adventure series and its sequel series Adventure 02 in this list, it's because of how much the characters had changed since Adventure 02 to the point that some of them have become low-key unrecognizable. Regardless of my grievances towards the movie series, the character I gravitated towards in Digimon Adventure Tri was actually Daigo Nishijima. The way it was revealed that he was one of the original chosen children before Taichi and the others was a neat touch to his character. But what I loved about him was his genuine care towards Taichi and the others, despite working for Maki. Next is Digimon Universe Apply Monsters, or Appmon. There's only one character that I gravitated towards in Appmon, and it's none other than Eugene. He's the ideal friend anyone would love to have, a confidant that would support you, raise you, and be there for you. That's what I found fascinating about Eugene. Despite circumstances and plot, he was still a very good friend towards Haru. And now, the recent Digimon series, the Adventure Reboot. In this series, we have the same characters as we have had in the original Adventure series, but some characteristics have changed from the original iteration, and with that change comes a new favorite character or a new reason for liking said character. As the series hasn't concluded yet, I'm still on the fence, but I'm very partial towards Mimi and Joe. Mimi, considering how she may have her original iteration's characterization, she still knows when to step up. I liked it when she kinda gives orders like a queen or a general would during battle. She certainly knows how to treat her employees, courtesy of her grandfather. The other one is Joe. Somehow I feel as if this iteration of Joe has more characterization over his original iteration. The way this Joe wanted to become the leader was both hilarious and endearing, coming from someone who was constantly studying even when his life was in danger. It was hilarious. And those were the characters I gravitated towards in the Digimon anime series. Who did you gravitate towards in each of the series? Send it down below. Once again, happy Odaiba Memorial Day! And as always, thanks for watching and ciao ciao!